Today's topic is rest and relaxation. And there's so many levels to everything. There are so many depths to every aspect of everything in life. And the same is true with rest. Obviously, rest is very important. We need to recuperate, allow our system to heal after a period of exertion, a period of stress, a period of breaking down the body, or the mind for that matter. We need a period of rebuilding, healing obviously meaning becoming whole again, becoming healthy again. So after exercise, obviously we need to rest, we need to sleep, we need to recover. But the same is true with really everything in life. After a whole day of eating, we need a whole night of fasting for our digestive system to get a rest. And the same is true when it comes to emotions, for example. If we go through something very emotional, it doesn't have to be something like extreme grief or extreme ecstasy. It could just be something like meeting an old friend and going through lots of funny thoughts and kind of maybe some sad thoughts, and the attachment, and it could really be anything that sort of triggers an emotional response, which is pretty much everything in life. Everything triggers somewhat of an emotional response, some more than others. And emotions do drain the nervous system. The two things that drain the nervous system more than anything else is emotions and digestion. And this is one of the main reasons why eating a raw food diet, eating a fruit-based diet, when you do that, you reduce the amount of digestion necessary in order to get the nutrients out of your food, and thus you are saving your nervous system from a lot of exertion, and thus you have excess energy to spare. You start exercising and have fun. The same is true with emotions. Like right after, if you've been crying for like an hour or hours, you know that feeling. You are just drained. You don't have anything left. But the same is true if you've been very, very, very happy. If you've gone through a few hours of just like total like ecstatic emotions, maybe you've been to a concert and you're just like so into it, or just like I remember when I was a kid, Christmas Eve, so much excitement on Christmas Eve, and the gifts, and when is Santa Claus coming, and all that stuff, and that was very emotionally draining. Healthy though, like it's a normal process. Your nervous system is there to be used, as it were. Draining your energy on emotions and digestion is a normal everyday thing, but we gotta recognize the need for recovery afterwards. And I think this is a very neglected aspect of modern life. Most people, they just keep going, stressing every day, work, productivity, and you never give yourself that. I think the wind is problematic maybe. And you never give yourself that opportunity to just rest, to recuperate. And the reason I thought about this today was because, as I said when I started out this video, there are so many levels, there are so many depths to everything. And I've been going through the last couple of weeks, we've been writing our ebook about bananas, and it's been a lot of work, obviously writing it, but especially the last couple of weeks sort of launching it, without going into the details of an ebook launch. Let's just say there's a lot of stress involved. Self-inflicted stress, because I put up a deadline, and deadlines, they always kill you. They're a deadline. So really we shouldn't put up deadlines, we should do lifelines instead, which are flexible. But anyway, I wanted to get that done, so there was a bit of stress, and that's okay. It's okay to have periods of stress, even though I prefer to have it very limited amounts of short bursts of stress and then a lot of recovery. Which, as an analogy, we can talk about exercise and how you basically you could drain yourself by constantly being too active physically and doing too much and not recovering enough, and that's unhealthy. But if you're able to concentrate the stress of exercise by going on a run for whatever you're adapted to, it could be 20 minutes, could be 2 hours, different levels of fitness means you're adapted to different levels of handling that stress. But you go out and you stress the body, and then you come home and you rest, you recuperate, you eat, you sit down, you chill, and eventually you sleep as well. Controlled stress is a healthy thing, basically. That's what I'm saying. But most people, they don't have that controlled stress and then controlled rest recovery period going. They pretty much just, they're always in a stressful mode. And I know this because right now I'm here at our cabin in Norway, and this is like the most chilled place I know of. We don't have internet. I don't bring my computer. We're out on an island. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's totally chilled. The house is over there. So this is a place where I really unwind and really relax. And this is our first day here now today. And the moment I wake up, really the moment I arrive, my body goes into a deeper mode of relaxation. And it's very interesting because after we finished the ebook a few days ago, we had a few days at home without having to do all that much. But it's just being at home where you have the internet, you have the computer, you can always do stuff, you can always be productive. You tend to sort of have this anticipation of you're going to do something, especially when you're in the middle of a project like I was with the ebook. You have this constant anticipation of what has to be done, and this affects you in more ways than you are typically aware of, and you don't know it until you actually rest. Like it's really just now when I'm going into this deep restful mode, I'm just like, ugh, so tired today, even though I'm not doing anything. But that's because my body is now in that recuperative, restorative, healing mode. When you have something on the schedule, you anticipate it, and this puts a subtle stress on your body. I've noticed I was struggling a little bit with sleeping over the last few weeks. My mind was always grinding because there were so many things to do, and I would get ideas lying in bed, and I would feel like I wanted to put down the note just so I could remember and put it in the ebook when I was writing tomorrow, that sort of thing. And that's not healthy to be in that mode. And most people are in that mode almost constantly, their whole life. They're always, they have this project going on. So I guess my point here is that ideally you want to live a life where you are not constantly in that state of scheduling things, having appointments, trying to finish things, deadlines. That's not a healthy way to live your life. You want to have a more spontaneous, more free life, really, if you want to be healthy anyway and happy. But life is the way it is, and we projects are a part of life as well. I do enjoy going into that mode sometimes and then getting something done and then withdrawing from it, and that's I guess what we can conclude this video on, because right now I have withdrawn from the project. I'm here, I'm recuperating, I'm resting, and I'm feeling that yet deeper level of rest. Even though the last few days I was done with the ebook, I was home in our house, but because I was in my normal surroundings and because internet was there and I could work and etc., I still wasn't resting completely. It's not until today where I can really feel my body just like properly resting deep, and that's when the most healing occurs. So every now and then we need to take time out. Or we could call it time in even. We need to tune in to our body. We need to tune into the environment, nature, be barefoot on the earth. And of course all the normal healthful practices like sleeping enough, getting enough sunshine, being hydrated, eating fruit, and that sort of thing. But there's something that happens to the mind and to the emotional system, to the nervous system, to our spirit even, if you will, once you take that complete unplugging and you just disconnect with projects, with schedules, with appointments, with people even. Sometimes we even need to be totally alone. I'm not alone now, I'm here with my family, but my parents, they're coming. They're actually walking from home to here. It's 300 kilometers. and they're walking here, so that's pretty awesome. Ultra walking, but they're coming in a day, and we're gonna be here together. But sometimes I go here alone too. But usually I write when I'm here, so it's kind of working at the same time. But my point is, sometimes we need to take a complete time out for ourselves. Sometimes we need to shut up as well. Sometimes we need to be quiet for like 2 days, maybe. I haven't tried that actually, but I would be interested in trying that. Some people do that, you know, go silent for like a day or a week or a month or a year or a life. That would be sad, a life. Unless that's what you want to do, unless, you know, if that's your trip. Finding the balance, that's the key as always. Finding that balance between spending energy and conserving energy and building up energy. Those are the 3 levels. You know, doing things and then not doing things. Creating things and then consuming things. We have 2 different modes. That's the topic for another video, right? We have the creative mode, and then we have the consuming mode, and there are 2 opposite modes, and we go through different cycles. So in a day we have a creative period where we can do creative work, and then we have a negative or a more consumptive period where we need to go inward and sort of just consume instead of always creating. So the balance is the key. Rest is important, sleep important, but it's not just whether or not you're sitting down or whether or not you're standing up. It's not that just like a physical thing. It's also a mental and an emotional thing. So be aware of that, you know. Close the computer sometimes. Turn off your smartphone if you have one. I don't have one. Turn it off sometimes. Just like when it's off, it's off. You're not checking it, and that gives you that little bit of a deeper rest, just because your mind isn't always just going to that. And sometimes you want to go to a different location, like a cabin, or it could be anywhere. Just like go somewhere else where you're not in your normal setting, for your body to go into that deeper mode of healing, deeper mode of rest. Yeah, these are important things to be aware of, and I'm sure all of you are aware of them, of course, because this is universal knowledge, but I felt like discussing it a little bit. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Of course, as always, I always appreciate you watching the videos wherever you are in the world. It's very satisfying for me to share. Thanks to everyone supporting us on Patreon. That's super cool. And of course, feel free to leave your comments down below. Feel free to share this video with your friends if you feel inclined. And if you haven't subscribed, you can always do that. Hope you're having a good day. I'm going to continue with my restful, spontaneous day with no plan. Only thing I've got planned today is to go for a run. And just on the end there, you know, actually using your body physically can be a part of a restful regimen. My main mode now is a sort of mental, emotional rest rather than the physical one. I'll still stay fairly active, but yeah, there are different times for different types of rest. Sometimes you need to have a physical rest, sometimes you need a mental rest, sometimes emotional, sometimes all of them. And so finding the balance once again. Alrighty, see you later.